subscribe.
The Angry Ops Guy podcast, featuring Mike and Christina, pushing the ops machine forward no matter the grind. Real talk, real stories, and hard truths from two battle-tested pros.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Angry Ops Guy podcast. I'm Mike Gualtieri. This is another one of our bonus episodes. So in place of Christina this week, because she's busy being a firefighting lady, I've got our podcast engineer wizard, Emily, with me again. Emily, how are you today?
Hi, I'm good, Mike. Thanks for having me back. I'm glad I didn't scare you away with the last one.
Oh, you didn't scare me away. By the way, I was talking to a few WSI friends in a mastermind group, and they chose to mention to me that they were listening to the podcast, which was really heartwarming. And they said they couldn't believe how much you sound like Christina when talking to me.
You know what's really funny is when Christina was just on vacation and I sent her a video of the dog because I was looking after the dog and I was like talking to him. And so she showed it to the twins and she was like, they thought you were me, but that was impossible because I was there. And I'm like, we do sound quite a bit alike when we're not side by side.
See, and I don't see it because I look at you two completely differently, but I'm going to have to try to figure that out. But you hear that, Christina? If you don't come back, I've got a replacement that sounds like you, and we don't care.
I do not have anywhere near the wisdom that Christina has, though, so I don't know that I would be adding nearly as much value. Okay, so today we're jumping into Little Fat Boy. Very silly title. Mike, why? Tell us why, Mike.
Why what?
Why Little Fat Boy? Why is it called that? Why did you write this song?
I'll start with why I wrote this, why I made this song. This song is about a real instance or a real challenge I was having in the last few months. And when I was kind of knee deep in thinking that these were going to turn into an award-winning album that would allow me to quit ops management and become an AI song guru, which that's not going to happen. It is a really good way of getting things off your brain versus going to pay for therapy, because therapy is expensive, but writing stuff in ChatGPT and then building a song can be very therapeutic. So I had a very challenging instance with a client opportunity, and it left me considerably frustrated for reasons, and I chose to write a song about it. And where does Little Fat Boy come from? Well, that's kind of how I see myself. So, you know, I've done presentations where I identify myself as Baby Huey or Tommy Boy from Chris Farley and whatever. And so basically what I'm trying to say is, in those moments where I feel small, that's when I'm the little fat boy like I was 35 years ago.
So what I'm hearing then is when you're not the Angry Ops Guy, you're a Little Fat Boy.
Sure.
Okay.
But I'll say this because you'll probably have to edit and chop this to be logical. No, it's like Little Fat Boy is like my self-reflection on myself when I'm feeling small. It's kind of one of those things like, you're just a fat little boy. Like it's that internal self-loathing or self-deprecation of just like attacking yourself for whatever reason that you're disappointed with yourself or frustrated. And that's the kind of statement or reflection I have sometimes. And in this moment of when this whole situation happened, when I got off the call with no ass left to be chewed, I literally put my head down for a moment and I was like, you're such a fat little boy. And it was just, and then I'm like, okay. And then a day later, I'm like, let's write a song about it.
Okay, I like that. I feel like that's like a healthier way of going about it. And like you said, it's cheaper than therapy.
I also ate 6 bags of Doritos and cried in a dark room. So
he is so mean. Let's talk about that. So, okay, good-ish. I feel like that's
struggling to find a constructive question. Now you're like, this is really
I
going
have
too
one.
deep.
I just want to phrase it in the right way. So I feel like you are coming from a very vulnerable place then. So was it easy for you to just like put this out there, or were you like, I don't know, I should do something with this? So
Oh, 100%. I don't care, because if anybody knows me that listens to this or is my friend or even just a colleague, I am the most self-deprecating person, whether it's beneficial or not. I've always been like that. It's kind of like, if I think that's kind of a defense mechanism from, like many, all of us in childhood that got bullied or picked on or whatever. Is It's kind of like, well, if I make fun of myself, then you're not going to make fun of me. So that's my way to get ahead of it. But also, it's meant to make people laugh. Like, yes, this is a real situation. Yes, okay, self-deprecation of self-identity, but it's meant to make people laugh. And I don't know why maybe I thrive off of people laughing at my expense, but it's like, even yourself here, I don't know what kind of day you've had, but you've laughed a handful of times in the first 10 minutes with me here. And so it's kind of like, if that's the only thing that's good that's going to come out of the day, then I've done my job. And I just thrive off of that. You mentioned Christina, even though she's not here. Like, when Christina has an infectious laugh, when she really gets going, you could tell it's like that stomach laugh. But when she starts cackling in her own way, it's infectious. But like, that's the drug for me, is watching somebody like, almost pee themselves, that they're just laughing, because we don't laugh anymore. Nobody laughs. Everybody's so stressed. I'm the most wound up, stressed person. So it's kind of like, okay, if somebody's going to be, that's why I do it with WSI. Like, people at head office must be like, good God, this guy's coming. But it's just to make people laugh. Just say something offside, say something that maybe somebody's a little bit, sensitive to saying. It's just like, all right, I'm fat, I make mistakes, I'm an idiot, and I'm an ops guy. So let's have fun with it. And if it makes Emily laugh whenever she listens to it, then it's 2 minutes and 40 seconds of your day that maybe makes it a little bit better. And that's the whole concept with all of these. It's not, again, like we said in the first bonus episode, it's not about it's not about, good for you, what a great job, and you're amazing. And no, it's just meant to inject something different into WSI's day. And you don't have to like the style of music, you don't have to like me, but hopefully some of the things that we share here are relatable. And also, the kind of one of the underlying themes of Angry Ops Guy overall is not being angry, it's saying relatability.
mm-hmm.
Fuck, I was dealing with that last week. Man, I just got hit with that email this morning. Yeah, that client yelled at me. That client's unrealistic. So it's just trying to bring like a medium of relatability, saying like, we know what you're going through. I'm going through it. You're going through it. It doesn't matter if you're $100,000 of revenue or $10 million in revenue. It's all the same. But, let's build our own therapy, with each other, as a way to deal with the day-to-day stresses of what digital marketing, PR, and operations bring. I love this song because it's one that was relatively easy to put together compared to other ones. I like the way it explodes and goes, and I think maybe let me bring it back over to you for a minute, because I need to take a breath, because like I need an oxygen mask right now, I think. But you actually said to me, because our running joke is that you haven't listened to every one of them, and I keep yelling at you to listen to them, even though I don't know why. But you kind of pulled this one out of the few that you listened to, and you kind of said right away that there was something about this one that hit you in the feels the right way. So can I kind of flip the script on you? What did you like about this one that kind of, this was one that stuck with you, where maybe other ones were cool but didn't resonate as much as this one? Because I was really surprised when you were like, oh, I just love the chorus, or where this one goes with energy, and I'm sitting there going like, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not alone in this. Other people call it an earworm too. This is one of the ones that you've sort of thrown into Work Vivo, and it's gotten a little bit of traction. So, WSI Network, if you haven't listened to this one yet, you are in the rare group, just saying. But it is an earworm. It does have some pretty catchy vibes going on. I would say, like you said, Mike, even if you're not a fan of necessarily this kind of music, you can probably get into it because it's a good one. Do you want to talk about any of the lyrics? Because I think there are some that are kind of cool.
Go for it. Yeah, what I love when you ask these kind of things is just it's your perspective has interested me more than reflecting on my perspective of what resonates with you. So what do you like or what do you want to know, and I'll try to make something interesting out of this shit.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's one very uh, relatable / applicable line in this song that I kind of want to unpack with you, which is marketing's not a linear biz. I think that's very obviously applicable to many, but probably relatable. So just can you tell us a little bit about what you were sort of going for when you wrote that line?
Yeah, you can't take advertising data evaluations, put them in an Excel file, and say every week is going to be like that.
Mm,
So
yeah.
when I tell you in evaluations in a sales proposal that we hope to be able to achieve up to 30 leads a month based on the budget you are, that's not going to be 30 leads every week or every month on the nose like it happens every day. Digital marketing and lead generation in particular, some weeks 6, 7, 10, 20 leads come in. Other weeks, maybe one lead comes in. Then the next week, you can't wonder why another lead doesn't come in. But then the client's sitting there saying, "Well, I'm expecting 30 leads,"
Yeah.
and I'm like, "But have you taken into consideration seasonality, budget, the machine ramping up and warming up and being optimized?" So that's the point: is you can't say 30 divided by 4 times 12 equals this. That's not the way marketing works. Marketing has so many factors that
Mhm.
allow lead generation or engagement to happen. So that's really what it is that, this, let's call this instance that really got under my skin and made me feel small it was just like, it was a black and white linear line of this is how it has to work. And it's like, no, this is not how it works. And why are we even having this conversation? Because it's just not um, logical, realistic. And so that's about as far as I'll say on that. But that's what it is like, it's not that so many people think about it like that, but it's those moments where you're just like, how could you not take these basic pieces of data that we've given and look at them for what they are? It's just not A plus B equals C.
No, I think that's a great point. I think this song is very relatable for anyone in marketing just because, I mean, if you're in marketing and you have friends or people around you who are not in marketing, I feel like you hear, and maybe this is just a product of my age, but I feel like I hear all the time, oh, well, I could do your job. And I'm like,
Then come take my job and do it.
right, right. I'm like, could you though? Could you?
Yeah, it's just like me saying I'd cut my own hair. There's a reason why a hairstylist or a barber is a specialist at something. It's like me saying, "Oh, Christina, thanks, but I'll do my PR myself." No, I have no idea how to do PR. That's why you hire professionals that are specialized in what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
And maybe just one more closing thing before we move to where else you want to is it really gets under my skin when people try to tell us how marketing works.
Yeah.
Like you just said, like if you know how to do it and you know everything because you read an article on Search Engine Journal this morning, then why are you paying me thousands of dollars a month to produce X? You're paying me because you need my experience, my team's expertise, the wizards that actually facilitate this technology and allow it to make this work. So it just maybe it's because I've been doing this a long time and you do get a little jaded and frustrated at the nuances, but that one really bothers me. I would never tell a roofer how to roof my house. So
Yeah.
why are you telling me how to market SEO or PPC when I have been doing this since the infancy of the internet?
I feel like that's like the number one thing that I wish I could say to clients when they are like, oh, well, I could do that. I'm like, then do it. Bye.
Well, and you know, that's a great topic for me and Christina on another podcast, because you're right. It's like how to say bye and watch people's faces when you basically say goodbye, because they expect you to bend over backwards for whatever they want. And what's really important in agency and team dynamic is to hold your ground when it's not a good fit for your agency. Because again, if you're being told what to do, then you are literally an order taker putting a Big Mac meal out a drive-through window versus doing comprehensive marketing that can generate a positive ROAS of X amount, which contributes to people's livelihoods. There's a big difference.
Definitely. I totally think there's a topic in there for you guys, and we don't need to dive into it now, but I mean,
For sure.
there's definitely a line between wanting to please the client and keep them happy, and also just being ordered around. So I want to talk about this line. They scream because I'm not human, just a screen. That's an interesting one, I think, from the perspective of, we do a lot of remote work. We are obviously interfacing with people virtually, probably most, if not all of the time. So I have a bit of a dense question for you, but I'm sure you can handle it. Do you think this digital environment that we're in sort of dehumanizes ops people a little bit, especially when we're constantly working through screens?
Yes, it does dehumanize because there's a barrier between human interaction. You really gotta be somebody to get in somebody's face in a boardroom, where man or female, age, whatever, but you really got to be something if you want to get contention like that, right? People, anybody, and let's set this right. We're not just talking about clients. We're talking suppliers. We're talking internal team members. We're talking family, whatever. But everybody likes to be a little bit more malicious or a little bit more blunt when you can use your fingertips. You can send an audio recording. You can scream on a conference call where it's coming through a speaker. Or even yell at somebody like this, and we're talking across the screen where you can see me, because I could be yelling at you right now, God damn it, Emily, and what the F and blah, blah, blah. But I'm not even looking at you right now, but you think I am. But I don't have to deal with, did her eyes crumble and go to the floor? Is there rage? Is she straightening her back because she's ready to go to war with me to argue? So people, here's the blunt ops guy in me. People think they're tough behind a screen. And I don't think that's fair. And I'm not saying that for my own self-worth or validation. I'm talking for anybody in customer service. We are humans. Yeah. We make mistakes. We type emails the way our brains think we speak. Emily may not take the context of my email, how I'm asking a question. She may look as Mike's pissed off as hell. Christina said something, I think in the episode we're going to drop soon, or the last one, about don't ever reply back emotionally immediately. And she's so bang on, because you almost need time to process and reread. Was that really malicious? Is that client or that employee or supplier really pissed off at me? Are they having a bad day? Or is that just the way they type because they're way better talking like this than typing? And we take everything so immediate and so personable now. And then, like you said, no problem. I'm in Texas and Mike's in Toronto. Fuck you, Mike. Well, come say that to my face. Or just better yet, say that in an email, and I'll pick up the phone and see if you have the bravado to say that to me as well. And that comes with experience, maturity, and self-respect. But a lot of people in operations, right, they just want to help people. And then people just use them as the whipping boy or girl for disrespect. And I don't tolerate that. I don't tolerate it from myself, and I definitely don't tolerate it from my team. You will not attack my team. You can be mad at us all you want for what we're doing or not doing, but you will not disrespect us, because we are humans and we're trying to help you. I am your strategic partner. I am not your whipping boy, and I am not just some POS that's out in the field that you can go and put out to pasture. So, sorry for my long-winded response, but like, that's what that means, is like, you're screaming at me, but you're screaming at me because you're looking at me like I'm not a human. I'm just a you-know-what behind the screen facilitating something for you. And that's just not a good feeling.
Yeah.
I want you to respect me by my efforts, by my performance, and how I take care of you. That's ultimately what ops and customer centric people are trying to do. And I don't understand why other people just think it's the easiest thing to cripple somebody. Because in closing, also, mental health is a real scary thing nowadays more than ever. And your comments, your statements, whether it was a moment of heat, a moment of anger, you're an asshole, whatever, but what does that do to the other person? Does Emily get off that call crying in hysterics because she's fractured? Not because she's sensitive or emotional, but she's just sitting there going like, "Oh my God, Christina's going to kill me because this guy's angry at me," or Mike's having a terrible day and he's holding on by a thread, and that's the tipping point of jumping out the window. And my point being is like you've really got to think before you talk now, because people are very sensitive, people are stressed, and different generations don't take pressure as well as others that maybe have thicker skin. And you've got to be understanding of that. People aren't motivated by you yelling at them. People are motivated by showing respect and appreciation, and you'll get a ton more of your ops people to run through a wall for you.
I think too, and I'm just gonna say this. I think we've all had mean things said to us at some point or another, whether it was work or not. But
I got called a fat little boy.
Right? But I think you really do have to watch what you say, because, like, quite frankly, if you say some mean ass shit to someone, they're gonna remember it. When I was in the 7th grade, somebody told me that I was really pretty and boys would like me more if I wasn't as weird. Never forgot it. This is like 15 years later.
Yep.
Never.
And people, and look, older adults or people that have more wisdom or whatever, they will say, roll it off your back, water off your back, and whatever else. No, comments can really change the trajectory of people and their self-worth. What's going on? I'm barely holding on at work, and my life's a mess, and whatever else. And then somebody comes and shits in your cornflakes, like that. So again, it's just like, in conclusion to this lyric, we are human. Yes, we're behind a screen in a digital world, but remember that you're talking to a human, and humans should have respect for each other, because if you can respect each other and you can improve communication, then most things iron themselves out, and the rest of it is just performance, and performance can snap back at any time. So that's why that reflection was on that one. I was just kind of like, you wouldn't talk to me like that if you were sitting across from me. So why are you talking to me like that now?
Yeah. I like this lyric because there's a bit of a double meaning here. I take this job personal with all this weight I carry. Was that intentional, or were you just
That's actually a very personal kind of 2 lines there. Well, let's set it up too, is, to get the context, the lyrics in that verse goes, incorrect statements, confusing spreadsheets, false expectations. I'm not a magician. Digital marketing isn't easy, whether you care to know. I take this job personal with all this weight I carry, running boss man show. So that's the context. But yeah, I really like those 2 lines, but that's me 101. That's not me with some innuendo in between it. I take this job, Commandex, very personal, almost unhealthy personal, if you ask my Peter. That's just the way I'm wired. It's not a job for me. It is a fundamental aspect of my life, and the responsibilities I carry for Peter and the staff that I'm fortunate to have, and so forth. With all this weight I carry, no, there's a double sword with that. So one, with all this weight I carry, the real intention in the lyrics is, the weight of responsibility. So that's what that means. On the other side of it, now that I look at it, it could kind of go with all this weight I carry. I'm always thinking I'm about 40 pounds overweight, and the song's called Little Fat Boy. So it could be, I take this job personal because I'm about to snap my office chair. So who knows?
Oh my God. Well, it's clever. Very good. I like that entire verse. I think you did a bang up job from a musical, lyrical perspective. So,
Oh, well, thank you.
well done.
You're so
It's
kind.
not the repetition of every day is the same, and that's just what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I feel like you do kind of, and maybe it's just because I've heard you. Well, I've heard literally every single one of your podcast recordings that has gone live so far. I
I
feel
would,
like,
I would hope so because you edit them.
can you imagine? I'm just like, I don't know, good enough. Here you go.
Mike, this one's really great. Check it out. Just literally sent me the raw version, no edits whatsoever. Been scamming me for 6 months of that you've actually figured me out.
I feel like I do hear you talk about how every day is the same a lot. Do you feel like every day is the same literally or more from a meta perspective?
Meta. I think that's more just like a reflection of how long I've been doing it. Like, always the same problems, always the same fight, always the same uphill battle, always the same bag of worms kind of thing. That's what it is. Is just every day in digital marketing or web development, there's an issue. Whether hosting is down, whether clients not happy with performance, whether something is broken, whether something's late, delayed. You mentioned not being able to get a hold of an employee or whatever. There's always something. So that's what I mean by that is it's just like it's kind of like it's every day is kind of like Groundhog Day.
Yeah,
But
fair.
that's not. Again, let's not be so negative. It's not meant to say like what a slog. It's just there's themes in our days, and I think you will agree that it's just like here we go again. And it doesn't matter how much process or SOP you build. It's the technology sector. Something breaks, somebody lets you down, or somebody's not happy, and it's our job to solve it. And that's why I overuse the firefighter analogy for a lot of stuff, because that's the best representation I have is bring out your fire hose and what fire sparked today in my garbage can kind of thing.
Oh boy. Um, Last one I think that we have time for, but I think I kind of like this question. I feel like in the lyrics and then obviously just with the overall vibe of the song, you're kind of bouncing between rebellion and defeat. So which one do you feel, or is it, let me phrase this properly. Which one do you feel you're leaning more into here, or do you really feel like it is sort of that push pull that maybe you're feeling in ops every day?
Wow, what a question. I think push pull is a better way to look at it. It's funny that you kind of identified that, but those are two themes because in my angry ops guy GPT that I've built, um, when I start to build these songs, I kind of say like, "Sup, bro? You want to build something?" He's like, "Sure, dude. What do you want to build? Do you want something rebellion? Do you want something angry, or do you want to talk about this and that, whatever else?" So it already kind of knows that like rebellion and venom is my vibe.
Mm.
So yeah, rebellion for sure. Um, but yeah, it's a little bit of both of those because that again, going back to what I said at the beginning, that's my therapy. That's my lash out at the world. That's my getting it off of my heart and my chest. So the rebellious side is very much pop punk. And the other side of it is that release of, and I will say this, because this one's kept me up at night. Not the song, but the situation.
Mm.
And um, what's important is when I finish this, even though it was like great, another song, I felt better because I had found a way to convey my thoughts, even if it was just to myself, in a manner that was constructive to process it and let it go for what it was versus allowing it to further bog me down. And again, that's why I've been so kind of excited to share songs and build them is I've just found a medium for myself to be able to articulate myself in a way that maybe others haven't seen. And, also I'm really proud of the lyrics because the lyrics are not generated. The baseline and structure is generated for me to start. But if people knew the amount of time I sat finagling them and editing them and trying to figure the flow and going back and playing with a line or a verse to get to it. Again, if you really know me or operations and you have an opportunity to read the lyrics, I think that's where the really strength is over the feel, the song, the vibe, the sound, the energy. It's the lyrics versus just some bullshit lyrics that are just like, oh, good for you, you made a song. Anybody can do that. These have true meaning. And wait till we get to Alberta's Coming. There's a lot of meaning in that song.
Love that song. Thank you, Mike, for kind of sharing the meaning behind Little Fat Boy. Listen to this one. It is a banger. They're all bangers, but like this one is famously an earworm within the WSI network. So like I said, if you haven't listened to it, okay, you're behind.
Yeah, thank you. No, thank you for spending some time with me, Emily, and going through this. Thank you for everybody for listening to us and listening to this bonus episode. Reminder, our podcasts episodes drop every other week on all major podcast streaming providers like Spotify. So people listening, if you do us a favor, if you haven't already, go to Spotify or Apple or whatever. Give us a 5-star rating to help us get more reviews and comments. It really helped the podcast get further momentum with people. Go take a look at our Instagram, our YouTube channel, AngryOpsGuy_WSI. And we'll be back, shortly with another episode with Christina and Emily. I hope to see you in a couple of weeks for another one of these.
You bet. Later.
All right, because just a little fat boy here to save the day. Bye.
Bye.
Welcome back to Ops, I'm not mentally ready. Urgent client emails, upset with performance. Reply to be supportive. Not well received, 22 times ROI or bust. That can't be real. What is going on? Completely surreal. Incorrect statements, confusing spreadsheets, false expectations. I'm not a magician. Digital marketing isn't easy, whether you care to know. I take this job personal. With all this weight I carry, running boss man show. Every day is the same and that's just what it is. I'll never make everyone happy. Marketing's not a linear biz. Just do your fucking job. They scream, cause I'm not a human, just a screen. And when it falls apart, yeah, that's all on me. Ping after ping, God, I hate this game. I'm trying to help, not be a shit stain. You want miracles, like I got a magic fucking wand. But I'm just a bad little boy. All wells available on demand. But man, why are you pulling the alarm before the machine can learn? Please be patient, trust the process. I don't wanna fight. Every day is the same and that's just what it is. The math is wrong, Mr. Client. Marketing's not a linear biz. Shout, just do your fucking job. They scream, cause I'm not a human, just a screen. And when it falls apart, yeah, that's all on me. It's a little fat boy here to save the day. Every day is the same and that's just what